is a legend of the arrival of Buddhism in China. In Han Dynasty, the second empire of Han Dynasty, Emperor Ming dreamed of a man who has a gold body with light of the sun flow to his palace from west. On the next day, he told his dream to his officials and asked them who the god is. One of his officials named Yu Yi told him that the god he dreamed about is someone who was the first awakened in India, and then the name of this god is Buddha. Then Emperor Ming sent a team of envoys to India to learn Buddhism. 2 Indian monks used a white horse to carry the Buddhist sutras back to China. When they came back, the White Horse Temple was built by Emperor Ming for them to translate the first sutra, named the Sutra of 42 Chapters, into Chinese. Since then, each dynasty sent envoys to India, and Buddhism was developed rapidly and became an important part of traditional Chinese culture. This video is going to show the influences of Buddhism on empires in Ming and Qing dynasty and how Buddhism became a part of their values and affected their behavior in both political and cultural life. Let's start with the empires in Ming dynasty. The first empire I want to introduce is the founding father of Ming dynasty, Ming Taizu, Zhu Yuanzhang. He was a peasant. All his family was killed by an epidemic in 1344. He became an orphan and was sent to a Buddhist temple at a young age for a living. In the temple, robe and bowl was issued to him for buying the necessities of life. In Buddhism, it believes all things arise in dependence of other causes and conditions. By some causes and conditions, he had an opportunity to join a rich fortune teller named Guo Zixing, who occupied the place of Haozhou in April 1352. In the early stage of the embryonic Ming dynasty, Taizu fully captured the traditions including Buddhist regime based in central China. It made his later success at the end. Both Buddhism, Messianism, and folk traditions built what would be the Ming dynasty. He thought of what he experienced and achieved depended on the conditions and courses or mandate of heaven, which idea shared by both Buddhism and Confucianism. What he did became reasonable and convincing. He also enforced Buddhism, Confucianism, and folk traditions on the whole country. Seasonal sacrifices and rites in behalf of the gods of rivers, mountains, soil, and grain were mandatory everywhere from officials central, regional to local, except others. Taizu did the most dignified sacrifice to the god of heaven and earth. Another Ming Emperor, Ming Wuzong Zhengde, was most significantly affected by Buddhism in Ming dynasty. This historian John Dardis mentions that Zhengde did not like the Forbidden City, and he built a palace named Leopard Quarter. In his Leopard Quarter, he set up a special place for monks to live. A Ming mission led by eunuch named Liu Yun was dispatched by him to Lhasa. The young miracle living Buddha of the Karmapa sect was taken back to the Ming on this mission. His addition to Buddhism was far away from the true meaning of Buddhism, which is a negative influence on Ming empires. Now let's look at the empires in Qing dynasty. In the Qing dynasty, the Manchus became the ruling ethnic group of China. In 1951, the 5th Dalai Lama the leader of the Yellow Hat sect of Tibetan Buddhism, met with the Shunzhi Empire and linked the Manchu to their Chakravartin traditions and evaluated the prestige of Manchu among Mongol and Tibetan believers alike. Since then, Tibet was becoming a part of Qing dynasty. In addition, Mongol tribes believed Tibetan Buddhism and Dalai Lama had an influence on them. This visit made Qing's position increase in both Tibetan and Mongol. The White Dagoba on the imperial lake outside the Forbidden City was built by Shunzhi Empire to show the acceptance of Tibetan Buddhism in Qing. Now let's look at another important empire in Qing dynasty named Qianlong, who was also affected by Buddhism deeply. The historian Mark Elliott points out that some historians consider that Qianlong used his identification with Manchuria as a political means to rule the Tibetan and the Mongols. There was also evidence showing that Qianlong had been influenced by Buddhism since he was at a young age. In his childhood, one of his friends and mentor named Ropa Dorje, who was a monk, later became his personal teacher. Qianlong was taught about Buddhism and the Tibetan language as well. Because of the learning experience of Buddhism in his life, Qianlong Empire had 6 times Buddhist pilgrim to Mountain Wutai, where is the site of the home of the Bodhisattva Manjushri in China. Each visit lasted over a month. Motivation with personal, political, and religious was hidden inside each trip. Each trip brought beneficial policy like tax relief and extra funds to repair the roads to countries and provinces that would be away passed by the imperial tour. In order to bring the presences of Manjushri closer to Beijing, he built several temples around Beijing with the copy of the same statue in these temples. In 1747, Pohanas, who was an authorized official by Qing dynasty, took charge of Tibetan, died, and his son accepted his position. His son was more ambitious and not loyal to Qing dynasty. He contacted with the person who used to rebel Qing named Zhunga against the Manchu. As a result, they failed and Pohana's son was killed. In order to stabilize Tibet, Qianlong decided to launch a punitive campaign that included most core area of Tibet. Meanwhile, his mentor Ropa Dorje advised him not to do this as a protection of Tibetan Buddhism. The intense relationship between Qing and Tibet went away thanks to Qianlong's interest in Buddhism. This success of suppressing rebellion made his bargaining position became more stronger and led the association between him and the Bodhisattva Manjus closer in Tibetan people's idea. It allowed the policy of autonomy achieved on the local level, which was a great example for later Qing empires and modern Chinese government. After this event, Qing's power in Tibet gradually increased and its influence even extended toward other places. Tibet remained safe for years since then. This is the analysis about how Buddhism affected Ming and Qing dynasty empires. Thanks for watching.